I've gone through this in my mind so many times. At the end of the day, with the benefit of all the hindsight that one could have, it was definitely the wrong thing to do.
The walls of Buckingham Palace may appear unshakable, but what Prince Andrew just revealed has sent tremors through the monarchy itself.
What they were doing and why they were there, I had nothing to do with. So I'm afraid I can't make any comment on that because I really don't know.
Prince Andrew used to be known as the Queen's favorite son. For decades, he held on to that reputation despite living in the shadow of his older brother Charles, but everything changed in 2019 when his ties to Jeffrey Epstein finally caught up with him. The breaking point was that now infamous BBC Newsnight interview. Instead of clearing his name, Andrew made things worse. He denied ever meeting Virginia Giuffre, claimed he couldn't sweat due to a medical condition, and gave answers that left both viewers and the palace stunned. The public backlash was instant and brutal. Within days, the palace moved fast. Andrew was forced to step back from royal duties for the foreseeable future. But it wasn't just about stepping back, it was a total shutdown. Charities dropped him. Public events disappeared. His entire royal identity gone in an instant. Then came the civil lawsuit in the US from Giuffre. While Andrew never admitted guilt, he did settle out of court for a reported £12 million sterling, 0 pence. That payout raised eyebrows, especially since he claimed he didn't do anything wrong. But even more controversial was the fact that much of the money reportedly came from the Queen's private funds. After that, Andrew vanished from public life, no royal events, no speeches, no presents. For years, he said nothing. But now, insiders say he's tired of staying quiet. He feels like he took the fall alone, and he's not willing to keep playing that role anymore. But while the public thought Andrew had faded quietly into the background, behind palace gates, resentment was building. As Charles took over more royal duties, even before the Queen's death, Andrew was pushed further to the Insiders claim that he felt completely cut off, both financially and emotionally. He was no longer included in key family conversations. His annual royal allowance, once worth nearly £250,000 sterling, 0 pence, was suddenly slashed. But it goes beyond money. Sources say Andrew believes he was removed from future inheritance discussions. With the Queen gone, Charles reportedly began streamlining who would benefit from royal assets, and Andrew was allegedly left out of the loop. This wasn't just a policy shift. To Andrew, it felt like betrayal. They grew up in the same palace, fought in the same wars, and served under the same royal family code. And yet, once Charles became king, he allegedly treated Andrew like a liability, not a brother. The tension grew worse when Andrew tried to hold on to his patronages and military honors. Charles made it clear those days were over. Andrew's name was effectively erased from public duty lists. And to make things worse, family insiders claimed that while Andrew was being exiled, other royals with their own scandals were being quietly protected. Feeling sidelined and unwanted, Andrew began reaching out to close contacts, sharing how he believed the royal institution had turned on him. Some of those conversations have now started to leak, and the message is clear. Andrew believes he was sacrificed for Charles's image as the clean, modern monarch. But this wasn't just about royal paychecks or lost titles. It all came to a head at one place: Royal Lodge. Royal Lodge isn't just a house, it's Prince Andrew's last stronghold. He's lived there since 2004 with a 75-year lease granted under the Crown estate. Even after stepping back from royal duties, he held on to the property, reportedly spending over £7 million sterling, 0 pence of his own money, on renovation. But after the Queen's death, pressure started to mount. King Charles, looking to slim down the monarchy and reduce costs, allegedly told Andrew to leave the lodge and move into Frogmore Cottage, the former home of Prince Harry and Meghan. Andrew refused. To him, this wasn't about downsizing, it was about dignity. Royal Lodge is a symbol of his place in the royal structure. Losing it would mean losing his last thread of status, power, and respect. Reports suggest that Charles even tried to cut off funding for the upkeep of the property, hoping to force Andrew's hand. But Andrew has dug in. He's not leaving, and he's not giving up. Even Sarah Ferguson, his ex-wife who still lives with him, has reportedly defended his decision to stay. Behind the scenes, some believe this battle is more than just about housing. It's a deeper family power struggle. And for Andrew, Royal Lodge may be his final stand. But Royal Lodge is only the tip of the iceberg. Andrew's fury goes deeper into the heart of the family inheritance.
I wanted to make sure that if I was going to go and see him, I had to make sure that there was enough time between his release, because it wasn't something that I was going into in a hurry, but I had to go and see him. I had to go and see him. I
And
had to
stay with him and stay in the house.
I
with a
could
convicted
easily have
sex
gone and
offender.
stayed somewhere else, but sheer convenience of being able to get a hold of the man was. I mean, he was in and out all over the place. So getting him in one place for a period of time to actually have a long enough conversation to say, look, these are the reasons why I'm not going to.
When Queen Elizabeth passed away in 2022, the question of inheritance was one of the biggest unspoken tensions in the royal family. Balmoral Castle in Scotland, Sandringham Estate in Norfolk, and a collection of private assets were all part of her personal portfolio, not owned by the state or Crown Estate, but by the Queen herself. These properties were expected to be distributed among her children, especially Balmoral and Sandringham, which she valued deeply. Prince Andrew, being one of her closest children emotionally, reportedly believed he'd receive a meaningful share of these private assets. He assumed there would be fairness, but that's not what happened. Instead, King Charles is said to have consolidated control of everything. Balmoral and Sandringham both went directly to him. According to palace insiders, Charles wanted to avoid dividing up the Queen's private estate because it could complicate the monarchy's public image and weaken its financial base. So he kept it all. What's more, Andrew hasn't seen the kind of private support he was expecting. There were whispers that the Queen left behind personal provisions for her children, but since these details aren't made public, Andrew can't confirm whether he was given his share or if it was withheld. And this is where the resentment grew deeper. From Andrew's perspective, this wasn't just a financial blow. It was another step in removing him from the institution. To him, it felt like Charles wasn't just tightening the monarchy, he was rewriting the Queen's intentions. Cutting Andrew out wasn't about image, it felt like punishment. Some sources believe Charles is holding back Andrew's inheritance deliberately to control his behavior and to avoid the optics of rewarding someone linked to the Epstein scandal. From a PR standpoint, it makes sense, but within the family, it's causing long-standing wounds to reopen. And now, with nothing left to lose, Andrew has begun to speak, and what he's saying about Charles is more personal than ever before. According to sources, Andrew isn't holding back anymore in private conversations. He started to share his true feelings about King Charles, and they're not flattering. He describes Charles's leadership style as cold and corporate. Unlike Queen Elizabeth, who led with a quiet sense of duty and loyalty to her family, Andrew believes Charles is running the monarchy like a business, focused on optics, image, and numbers over people. In fact, Andrew is said to have used one word over and over to describe his brother: heartless.
You have to take some sort of positive action. And so therefore, if you try to forget, it's very difficult to try and forget positive action. And I do not remember anything.
It's not just about the money or the Royal Lodge. Andrew feels that Charles has cut emotional ties, refusing to show even the smallest signs of family solidarity. Friends say Andrew expected a level of empathy after the scandal, some recognition that he was still their mother's son. But instead, Charles allegedly kept his distance, treating Andrew more like a liability than family. Even their communication is said to be strained. The king is reportedly more comfortable dealing with royal advisors than having direct conversations with Andrew. To Andrew, that coldness says everything about the new monarchy's direction. He's not just being excluded, he's being erased. And the emotional toll for someone who once had the Queen's full support has turned into deep anger. And all of this is happening while Charles faces his own public battles, raising one critical question: why now? Right now, King Charles is battling his own health crisis. He's undergoing cancer treatment and limiting public appearances. The monarchy is in a delicate phase, trying to appear strong while managing a slimmed-down royal team, and that's exactly when Andrew decided to speak up. So why now? Some believe it's a calculated move. With Charles vulnerable, Andrew may think this is his only chance to shift public sympathy, or maybe even gain back some ground in the family. By highlighting how he's been treated, he could be hoping to reframe his image, not as the disgraced royal, but as the castaway brother. But others say it's not a strategy at all. It's desperation. A final cry from someone who's been stripped of titles, income, purpose, and now even family ties. According to insiders, Andrew feels completely cornered. Speaking out might be his only way to push back. Either way, the result is the same. The royal silence is broken. And Andrew's words are already causing waves across Buckingham Palace, but whether it's strategy or survival, Andrew's decision to speak is already shaking the crown.
Now, he may have changed his behaviour patterns in order for that not to be obvious to me.
King Charles had a clear goal after taking the throne. He wanted a more focused, modern monarchy, fewer working royals, tighter finances, and a cleaner public image. But what he didn't expect was resistance from within his own family, and especially not from Prince Andrew. Now that vision is being tested. Andrew's quiet frustration has turned into public defiance, and it's opened a new rift inside the royal walls. And while Charles might still hold the crown, the unity behind it looks more fragile than ever. Public sympathy could go either way. Some may see Andrew's actions as a last grasp for relevance. Others might view him as a man pushed too far, discarded by his own brother without support or closure. It's this tension that's now putting pressure on the palace from every angle. And here's the real risk. If Andrew continues to speak out, it might not stop with personal digs. He knows details, private moments, family conversations, and secrets that the monarchy has worked hard to protect. If he decides to expose more, the fallout could stretch well beyond sibling rivalry. And if this is just the beginning of Andrew's tell-all, then the monarchy's darkest days may still lie ahead. This story goes beyond a scandal. It shows how the royal family is still just a family divided by status, power, and years of buried tension. What started with public disgrace has turned into a full-blown personal war, and now even the most private struggles are being pulled into the spotlight. So what do you guys think? Do you believe Prince Andrew's claims, or is this just revenge from a royal left out in the cold? Let me know in the comments below, and if you want to keep following this royal storm as it unfolds, make sure you're subscribed.